Yeah, so Warwick Kickstart is an entrepreneurial society, and what we do is we focus on disruptive industries and enablers of disruptors. So what that includes is fintech companies like Monzo or Revolut. You must have seen Monzo's on a meteoric rise that almost everyone in the UK has a Monzo account. But those kinds of companies, as well as VCs, accelerators, these people that enable that disruption to happen in the first place. And the core thing what we focus on is actually educating students about, and bringing speakers in to educate them in the fact that, oh, this is what's going on, and this is how you can actually, these are the processes that these companies have. And as well, the fact that we first inform them, and then we also want to provide career opportunities for them to actually break into these fields, because we really believe that supporting student startups is important, but not all students have that entrepreneurial idea that they want to really focus on and work with. So actually getting a job into these industries and startups or VCs is a great segue into that. And also, it helps the work ecosystem as a whole, because then they actually see what's going on in these industries. They can bring that learning back and then become part of societies in the future that can help build the whole ecosystem even further. I think it's definitely a learning experience. More than anything else is the fact that you learn about what's going on. So some of the events that we've had in the past are Deloitte Ventures and BCG Digital Ventures. So these are companies and these are divisions of these really big companies that everyone at work knows about. Everyone knows about Deloitte, everyone knows about BCG. But they don't know that these companies actually have divisions that focus on an entrepreneurial side. So you can actually go into corporate life, but also follow your passion of entrepreneurship at the same time. So that's really where the education part of it comes in, and just some guidance as well, because these industries aren't like banking, financing, consulting. There's no set cycles for applying to jobs. There's no set routine. There's no set, not literally nothing is set, right? The whole startup world is adapt as you go. So we want to show students, okay, what's the right way to actually go about it and actually start to understand what's going on so you can explore it yourself. Honestly, Warwick Kickstart's open to everyone, whether you're an undergraduate student, a master's student, MBA, PhD, it really doesn't matter. As long as you're interested in these industries and just want to learn about them, anyone and everyone is welcome to come to literally any of our events, whether it just be a simple networking event, a speaker event, or some of the careers events that we're going to host, for example, the careers fair that we have in March. Yeah, we actually have 6 different teams. You have your regular teams about corporate relations, careers, that kind of thing. But what I really want to talk about is the main activities that we have are kind of three different aspects, I'd say. First, we have the events. So we bring in speakers from these speakers who are experts in these different industries I touched on, and they actually provide their knowledge. What we tend to do is start with their journey, and then what they do, and then how students can also do the same thing and replicate the same kind of experience that they had. And that's what our events are all about, is actually meeting people and learning from these experts. The second thing is content. So we actually have articles and podcasts that we do, firstly about what's going on in these industries, as well as with the speakers that we bring in. We tend to do a podcast with them beforehand. We have our very own podcast on Spotify called Kickcast. So we little play on the name as well. So that's really interesting, and I really recommend it because there's some speakers and some podcasts back from first year as well. So definitely, it'd be definitely a good listen. And the last thing would be definitely our careers fair and our careers aspect. So we just always make posts on our LinkedIn, primarily LinkedIn, about job opportunities. And one thing to note is that we're open and we are a diverse community, especially at Warwick Kickstart Society. We have a Women in Kickstart team as well that entirely is focused on females in these industries as well. What are their successes? For example, we had a talk from Warwick alumni, Jessica Rasmussen from Two Magnolias at the end of last year, and even a speaker from Westpod as well this year. So I definitely think it's worth, no matter what your background is, you're always welcome to come join us. It really doesn't matter. And that's the best thing about the entrepreneurial world, is that it doesn't matter where you come from or who you are. Everyone is welcome to come learn and make a difference. I think for me, when I was in first year here, I've been with Warwick Kickstart for 3 years. Since my first year I started in the team. And one thing I definitely learned is, don't be afraid to message people on LinkedIn. Don't be afraid to go and talk to them. We, as a society, try to be a very approachable group, just so students can come talk to us and just see what experiences that we have and that we can share. I really think that the main thing is just honestly talking to people, because especially in the startup and VC world, networking and knowing people and just having relationships and building those relationships are so important. But other than that, I just say, come and see what it's like. I know that everyone here harps a lot about finance, consulting, banking, all of that, but you never know what else there is out there. And the important thing is, like, companies like I mentioned, like Monzo, Revolut, those are companies that are challenging the traditional banks now. So you want to know what's happening in these disruptive industries that are changing an entire landscape of how something works. So if you know about that, then even if you do go into banking consulting and choose that route, you already have the knowledge and know where to get the knowledge of, okay, what are things that are going to change my current industry and the landscape that I'm working in? How can I adapt in my team to stand out and get there ahead of everyone else and get ahead of the competition? We're actually having a startup and VC careers fair at the Shard. I mentioned earlier as well that there's no real structure to getting these internships and getting these jobs. So the opportunity to actually network on a one-to-one basis and meet these people can actually give students some more guidance of, okay, what was your journey like? How did you get in? Was it through networking? Was it through a job post? What part of that job post, how did you respond to it? And those are things that we want to actually show students. At the event also, we have 3 different kind of ways that we're differentiated from just a regular careers fair. So we have the whole thing where you have different stalls at the event and all the companies are there, you can talk to them. But we also have 2 panels on the day. One is startup career insights and the other is VC career insights. That way you can actually listen from a mixed bag of individuals with tons of experience about how did they break in, how do they help others break into these kinds of industries. And the third thing, and the one thing that I'm really most excited about for the event, is that all attendees actually send in their CVs beforehand. Companies can review them and then book one-to-one sessions to talk to them on the day. So it's not only that, okay, I'm going to go talk to these companies. If they find you really interesting, you even get the opportunity to have a one-to-one sit down with them in a private room on the day. So we really try to just make it, yes, different from the fact that it's startup and VC, but also different from the fact about what actually goes on at the careers fair to make it specialized. At this moment, we're going into a new exec. So the next round and the next year, we're going to have a lot more really interesting activities. We're going to build on everything that we did this year. I think one thing to talk about is one of the events that we had was a Meet Your Co-Founder event, which I thought was really interesting. Students got the opportunity to come, and we had people from a technical background and then people who had like a business background. And if you had a business idea, but you didn't have that technical background, you could find someone at Warwick who did have that background and meet them. It was an entire speed networking event that we did. And we had 13 different societies we partnered with, all at the Climb, and we had 50 plus students at the event. So I think there's definitely some really great things that we've done this year that I know for sure that the next exec are going to build on and make it even bigger. So I definitely think it's worth following us and just keeping up to date with all the activities that we have going on, because I can guarantee you it'll definitely be worthwhile.